Welcome to RCR Wireless News. I'm Martha DeGrasse, and I'm here today with Mike Schabel. He is a VP at Alcatel-Lucent, and he's the head of the Small Cells Business Unit. Mike, thanks a lot for making the time today.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
So we're here at Small Cells America, and Alcatel-Lucent has just announced a database for operators to expedite small cell deployment. Mike, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. What we announced is what we call our MetroCell Express Site Certification Program. It has two really important components. Number one, we're recognizing that operators are struggling to accelerate and speed their time to deployment on small cells. So our fundamental goal is sites on air. Accelerate sites on air. The way we're doing that is pulling together all the new, what I call non-tower ecosystem partners. They're advertising companies, they own infrastructure, street furniture, backhaul, and installers. Number one, what we're doing is training all of them to be deployers of carrier-grade equipment. So generally the folks that are manning advertisements don't know anything about wireless yet, but they have the skill set. So we're training them to do that, number one. And then number two, in being in the program, we have access to all of their inventory and their assets. So we're able to cross then the street furniture assets with the backhaul assets and answer some very fundamental questions. Where's the site? What power solution do we have? What's the backhaul solution? And who's going to support that site? When we've answered those questions, we qualify them as a small cell site and then put that in the database and make that available for operators to leverage. That way we have a very simple, standardized solution that operators can leverage to accelerate their time to market on small cell deployment.
And primarily outdoor?
This is an outdoor model. That's right. There's certainly a different set of challenges for indoor, a different set of challenges for residential. We have a lot of history there and bespoke programs, but the outdoor, I think, is the new sort of tricky one. It's like a macro but non-tower, so we need to really address the new sites we're dealing with.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about some of the backhaul solutions that you're identifying?
Sure. Alcatel-Lucent is really has been for many, many years a leader in backhaul, DSL, fiber, DSL with vectoring is a recent solution we brought to market, microwave and the like. So what we find is that we call it any backhaul. We have an organic portfolio that can support just about any type of backhaul an operator may need to use, whether it's a localized fiber, whether it's a short hop using some Wi-Fi, for example, Wi-Fi 5 gig backhaul ad hoc mesh. We have that working. We even deployed some satellite backhaul in certain remote cases, and all of that actually we have the flexibility to make work for an operator.
Now, which satellite operators are working with you? Can you say?
Yeah, so these end up being very bespoke solutions where the operator has brought to us the satellite provider that they're already working with. And so what we end up doing is just a quick IoT interoperability test with them to make sure we can get it working. And pretty much every time we've been able to get that working and working properly.
Terrific. And you said there are about 600,000 sites currently in the database?
That's right.
And that's going to scale, or how do you see that happening?
Yeah, so we have today 9 founding members in our partnership program. We focused on membership that are large-scale infrastructure, large-scale backhaul providers that would help us globally scale this program. What we'll find what we found is that with those 9 partners across Europe and the U.S. today, that gave us an inventory of 600,000 qualified sites, which we think is pretty important given the magnitude of the problem that operators are dealing with. We're willing and happy to have new partners join the program. It's certainly not exclusive. And with that, with each new addition, we'll be able to strengthen the database and just add in their inventory and again, make that available for operators to participate.
Okay, great. And finally, let's talk a little bit about some of the systems installers. You talked a little bit about that earlier, but clearly an opportunity for smaller companies if they can become part of your database. So how do companies get involved?
Yeah, that's right. We have actually in our recent press kits that we've been sharing, there's some direct contact information. We're happy to have these companies contact our respective internal contacts. And we'll frankly join them into the database. It's sort of an equal opportunity type situation. We'd like to get them in. We'd like to train them. It's really important that we certify them because we're making a representation to the operators that in fact these are certified sites that have real skill behind the implementation, deployment, and management of these devices. With that, that's the ticket for entry. Then we bring them into the inventory, and they're welcome.
Great. And what are some of the specific skill sets needed for a small cell deployment engineer?
Well, we have designed our MetroCell products to be very simple to deploy. In fact, actually, let me put it this way, I can deploy it. So that's actually an indication of how simple they are to deploy. But that said, I think we need to we need to translate what the wireless operator terms and guidelines are for management of RF equipment. So really what we're doing is translating, I think, the methods and practices of typical wireless operators into the skill set of these folks. But you need to have some general electric capabilities. You don't need to be an RF expert. That's not required at all, but you need to be able to follow some instructions and tilt things in the right way and move things in the right way and then not electrocute yourself in the process,
Right.
So.
Okay, last question. Clearly, Alcatel-Lucent is emerging as a leader in this space. Who do you see as your top competitor in small cells?
Yeah, thank you for that, by the way. We're working hard as a team to help develop this market. Competitor, I would say, almost partner. We find that there's a lot of important innovations that need to happen in this industry. That's not going to happen with one company, and we're really appreciating the work that other companies are doing in this space. If I go down and segment the metro versus the indoor versus the residential, in fact, actually, there are very different types of companies playing in each space. I find that the traditional macro wireless players or vendors are participating first as a first entrance in the metro space. In the indoor, you have a variety of companies really born out of startups and now being acquired. Spider Cloud is out there. Ubiquisys, now Cisco, is out there. A number of companies like that bringing great innovations, great ideas to the market, and we see them in the competitive space all the time. And then indoor, we see a lot of companies like IP Access and a number of Sagicom with Node H. All great companies. They're all doing great work. And I think with the body of us vendors really working hard together, we're going to help grow this market.
Okay, great. Mike Schabel, anything else you'd like to add?
Well, just thank you for your time. I appreciate this.
Thank you.